Hi, friends. Okay, I've been having a lot of really similar conversations lately around ROI. I don't know if it's Q4 craziness or just been on everybody's minds, but it usually starts with how do we prove this is working? We need to see ROI faster, which honestly is a totally fair question. But what's been interesting is where these conversations are actually ending up. Once we start digging, ROI isn't really the problem. It turns into things like which system is the source of truth in our whole tech stack? Our tools don't really talk to each other. Marketing and sales numbers aren't lining up, and they could be working in completely different tools and systems instead of the same CRM. Reporting takes forever, still doesn't feel right. You see where I'm going with this. And at that point, ROI becomes impossible to answer confidently, because if your systems aren't talking to each other, they're not communicating, you're not measuring performance, you're guessing. And what I've noticed is that a lot of teams don't design their tech stack, they build it over time. I'm sure turnover contributes to that, but a form here, a tool there, an integration that kind of works, spreadsheets filling in the gaps. No one did anything wrong, but eventually it creates friction that you can't out campaign. This is where RevOps usually enters the conversation. It's not a buzzword, but more of a realization that, oh, this isn't a marketing problem. This is a system problem. And that can be such a relief because it means the answer isn't do more, it's connect what we already have. The teams that feel the most confident about ROI are usually not doing anything flashy. They're just trusting their data. They know where things live, and their tools talk to each other in a way that makes sense. So if ROI feels harder to explain lately, it might not be your strategy. It might be your tech stack quietly asking or maybe loudly begging for attention. And that's a conversation worth having.